My journey in journalism is for the past 10 years. Worked with the former governor of Garissa, Ali Korane, in 2017. I was his communication officer, dealing with matters video editing, video production for 5 years.
Yeah.
I also dealt with charitable organizations. Around 2019, through the challenges I encountered because of my work in the communication area, I realized how our people are marginalized, the challenges they have through that scope of media. So it came to my mind, why don't I try to look for a way to help these people? So together with few friends, we had to start a small community-based organizations called the Frontly Muslims, whereby we first started with trying to give our people shelter.
And that is the culture we live in northern part of Kenya, because there is a little bit suffering, and there is constant or chronic drought in that particular place.
Yes. Later on, we tried to expand our work to Ramadan iftar programs. We have been fortunate to do around 4 Ramadans, feeding the families during Ramadan period.
And who was sponsoring that NGO of yours, the Frontly?
No, we don't do donors. We were doing personal donations. Us as the members, we contribute our own donations, then we give it back to the society.
Yes.
Because we were doing non-profit interviews on the education stakeholders, and I happened to interview my father. So it was one of my best moments in my journey, because it gave me, like, a different scope of parenthood. It was more of, like, you can understand, the normal happenings in the house, but I was happy that day my father was prepared to be hosted by his son.
Hello everyone, welcome to Sango Insight. We wish you a happy and a blessed year. As Sango Insight and the team want to advise you that you should take the year in a serious way, do and adapt each and every skill you wanted to adapt last year. The year is starting now, but nowadays time flies. So take advantage of the remaining time and make sure by the end of the year you are joyous, you are happy and fulfilled. This is the first episode we are doing in 2026, and I have none other than Abdinur Maalim Bishar. Abdinur Maalim Bishar is a media practitioner, a philanthropist, and as well a friend of mine. Now today we brought him so that we can learn few things on his journey and get to witness his experiences, his journeys, lessons and failures. Mr. Abdinur, welcome.
Thank you very much, Fateh, for welcoming me to your studios, Sango Insights.
Yes, tell us. I know I have told the audience brief things about you, but in general, who is Abdinur and what do you do?
Thank you again. My name is Abdinur Bishar, as you mentioned. I'm a journalist by profession. Also, I am a person who deals with the charitable organizations.
Yeah.
Currently running an organization by the name Frontlink Development Initiative. So basically, my life revolves around journalism, media, and the charitable activities throughout the scope of northern Kenya. Yes.
Which city were you born? Where did you attend your primary, secondary, and university?
So Abdinur was born in Garissa.
Yes.
In a place called the Tetu area.
Tetu.
Around a school known as Tetu Primary.
Yeah.
I went to school in Tetu Primary.
Yeah.
Later on, I advanced to Kangaru School in Embu.
Yes.
Where I finished my O levels. So later on, I went to Mount Kenya University.
Yeah.
I did a diploma in mass and communication. I advanced to bachelor's in journalism and mass communication.
Yes.
After I finished my class, I got a job at the Parliament of Kenya
Yes.
in the year 2016.
As who?
I was the media coordinator for. It was a political office,
Yeah.
but I was the media coordinator for Balambala constituency.
Yes.
The year 2016.
Where's Balambala constituency located for a person who is watching this one and he doesn't know?
Balambala constituency is in Garissa County.
Yes.
So I was working under the area MP then. He was called Honorable Abdikadir Aden.
Yeah.
I was his media coordinator,
Yeah.
basically handling everything
Yeah.
with his itinerary, all media communications in Balambala constituency
Yeah.
around the parliament.
Yes.
So after I finished my work, the MP was unfortunately not re-elected. So I later on worked with the former governor of Garissa, Ali Korane, in 2017.
Yeah.
I was his communication officer, dealing with matters, video editing, video production for 5 years.
Yeah.
After 5 years, I formed a media called the Barkulmis, which is currently situated in Nairobi. So my journey in journalism is for the past 10 years. So I've been dealing, mostly my life has been through politicians, in the eyes of politicians, working through their daily lives, their communication to the people, and how they interact with the people. So apart from my journalism field, I also dealt with charitable organizations. Around 2019, through the challenges I encountered because of my work in the communication area, I realized how our people are marginalized, the challenges they have through that scope of media. So it came to my mind, why don't I try to look for a way to help these people? So together with few friends, we had to start a small community-based organizations called Frontline Muslims, whereby we first started with trying to give our people shelter. Because the first challenge we encountered was during the floods. The river bank, the river bank, which was busting due to floods around the Tana River encroachment areas. So we started trying to raise funds to build a decent house for the communities who are around the river banks.
Yeah.
So we were successful to build around 4 people good houses. Later on, we tried to expand our work to Ramadan iftar programs. We have been fortunate to do around 4 Ramadans, feeding the families during Ramadan period.
And who was sponsoring that NGO of yours, the Frontline?
No, we don't do donors. We were doing personal donations. Us as the members, we contribute our own donations, then we give it back to the society.
Yes.
Because we were doing non-profit. When we tried to look at the idea of donations, but then we were afraid like the idea might be corrupted because some people might try to shift out of the idea of helping the people. So we said, let's start with ourselves.
Then that is massive. If you guys were fleecing your pockets to help other people, I mean, that is so impressive. And that is the culture we need in northern part of Kenya, because there is a little bit suffering and there is constant or chronic drought in that particular place.
Yes.
That is a quite exemplary journey of yours. Let's go back to journalism. When did you feel that you have passion for journalism?
So, Fatih, what sparked my interest in journalism started at a young age.
Yeah.
Back then, our people, when we come from school, we immediately go back to Duxi in the evening. Then we come back around 7 after the Maghrib prayers. So whenever I come back, I used to sit with my old man, my father. So we used to watch news together. So back then, there is a lady that inspired me. She's called Jamila Mohammed.
Oh, Jamila Mohammed.
Yes. So I think back then she was working at NTV.
Yeah.
So my father used to watch the news and I was just there. So the way the lady was exposed, and she was exposed as a lady from our community. It was something that triggered me, because it was very rare to find somebody from our community being in the eyes of the people as a media person.
Yeah.
So I used to, instead of going back to the Duxi, I used to sneak and listen to the news until 7:30. Then later on go to the Duxi while I'm late. But I used to sacrifice those 30 minutes to watch the news. So my interest started back then. So later on, when the phone started advancing, and the idea of camera phones came up,
Yeah.
I remember when my father used to sleep in the afternoons, I used to take his phone and walk around that area of our bula, just recording things and speaking, like, mimicking like some of the journalists. There were some guys like Richard Chacha, the guys I used to mimic, just recording around the area.
Yeah.
So I started back then, and in my mind, one day I thought that I will be on the screens trying to be like that lady. So my journey started back then.
So you're inspired by Jamila Muhammad. Who else do you think inspired you?
Basically, I think it's that lady, but as I grew older, of course, I was exposed to many journalists upcoming, mostly from our community, international media, like Mohammed Ado. Like, I remember going to cyber caves, just listening to the documentaries he does on international topics. So I was exposed, like I even had to fake sometimes, like pretend to be a journalist, just to be at par with that passion of journalism. So those guys.
Did you take advantage of debate programs and journalism clubs in schools?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From primary, I was the chairman of the debating club.
Mm.
I introduced Teto Primary. I introduced the debating club. We were around 3 streams. I had to choose around 5. I suggested to my English teacher, so he chose for us a good number of guys. So in the evening on Wednesdays, we had those kind of debating contests. The best guys come out. So the idea came on, and later on, I think around when I was going to class 8, around 2010, there was a contest at Garissa Teachers College of all schools in Garissa.
Yeah.
On debating contest. I remember I was chosen to go in on behalf of Teto Primary, and I remember I was number 3. 2 guys were ahead of me, but me as somebody who was from Garissa, the guys who were number 1 and 2, most of them, they came from down Kenya. So of course, according due to their education background, the foundations from a child from Garissa and from maybe Nairobi is totally different. So I became number 3. I was very motivated when I went to Form 1.
And why do you think there is difference between the quality, the standard of education between the place you have said now, Garissa, and other places of the country?
I cannot say it is the quality. It's about the seriousness. Because as a person who both achieved high school outside Garissa on Northeastern, and I did my primary in Northeastern, I can just say that the effort is different. It's not about the quality, it's the effort. In the other parts of Kenya, there is the effort. The teachers put more effort on your work. So the student is overwhelmed. He has no time to walk around, enjoy. But the problem with our local schools, we are only joined around from 7 class to 5 to around 3. Once we leave the class, we leave the books there. We come the following morning. But the other schools, you're given homework, assignments, so the child is engaged. So that's why we are not at par with the rest of the country in terms of the education. So
do you advise maybe a student from Garissa to go and pursue the education in other places?
No, I don't advocate for that because I don't see there's a difference. The only difference is the effort. I just encourage the teachers because the problem is a teacher comes to a school, he finds the previous teacher doing something he is not used to. So he continues doing what the previous teacher was doing. He is not coming with his new program, he's not coming with his new challenge. So our problem is what you call just following the rest. So I wish the teachers try to put more effort on the education of our children. And it starts from the foundation. So I believe it's not about looking for other greener pastures. In the recent exams,
The teacher only gives 25%, 75% must come from the student.
yes, that's why I'm saying the teacher has to challenge the student. Our children are not challenged. There is no one challenging them.
Yeah.
When they come home, most of them have phone gadgets. They go around their phones the following morning. So there is no challenge.
It is the environment. Let's say it is the environment. So you have said you worked in the parliament as
I was a media coordinator
for as a former MP who
Yes.
unfortunately was not. How was that journey working in parliament? A new place.
Yes.
It was a new place with a lot of eyes and its own challenges. How did you
It's a
feel?
bigger level.
Yeah. How did you feel when you impact on working on the parliament, and what are some of the challenges you have faced there?
So one of the key lessons I learned there, when I got the opportunity, I was just amazed. I felt like I have achieved everything, but it was just the beginning. When I got the first day, I was fortunately starting my work there. I was amazed by the people there. The kind of people I used to watch only on news, the TV. The journalists who were coming there, they were big guys, and me, I was just fresh from the university, so I was out of place.
Yeah.
But as I went on the following days, the following weeks, I started to ask myself, everybody starts from somewhere, so let me try to create my own journey. So back then, in my hometown, people were regarding me like, I have achieved, but in my mind, I was trying to look for a way to make connections, because in media, it's about connections and
Network.
yes,
Connection, you mean
networking.
network?
Yes, networking. So I had to, apart from doing my own work with my employer, my MP, I also had to network with the fellow MPs, so that if an MP needs a work, he does not need to resource the work from outside. I'm right there. So while doing my work, I was also doing freelancing for the rest.
Yeah.
So I remember a certain time we were having a program in Dadaab. There was a launch of the national grid. So we went with the MPs and the minister on the plane. I remember I was the only media guy, courtesy of my MP was going. So he had to take me. He exposed me to the eye of the public. So when we went to Dadaab, I remember I was the only media guy people were relying on, apart from the other local media guys, but the ones who came with the parliamentarians, I was the only one. So after the event left, I remember I received many calls. People asking me, who is that guy? Who was the guy who was with us? So people were trying to look for me. Did you get my clip? A whole member of parliament calling you, texting you, do you have my clip? So my steps to journalism started from there. So I had to connect, network. I did it actually for free, because in my mind, I just wanted that rapport of connection between me and those politicians. So I did the work there. I continued for a year and a half. And by the time I left, I had a good image of what is media about, ethics, the responsibilities that I had to balance my life outside and when I come to the parliament precincts. So it was a new challenge for me, and then one that I always thank God for, and I appreciate actually the area MP then, who has put me into the eyes of the public. He has exposed me, and I got a lot of opportunities and connections through him.
After parliament, where else did you go? And after that, you went to Garissa County.
Yes, while working through that networking, while working for the area MP, people were still trying to poach me from the MP. So the former governor and his people were trying to tell me, come to our sides. We are winning the government. We want you to handle our media. Just leave the former MP. And I told them, no, I'm working. Let me finish this. If you want, we can work together. So they agreed that while working for my MP, I was still doing work for them. So whenever they want some work, I am doing. I do also my daily job. So the elections came, they won. So, and I was their main guy in media. So they had to absorb me. So I started handling the communication part for the county government. Since my other job expired, because my MP was not re-elected, automatically I became county government staff, handling the communication production for the governor.
What are some of the skills you exposed, or what are some of the skills you had at that particular time that made you a vile governor to require your services?
So, I always tell people, you don't learn everything in class.
Yeah.
You learn outside. When I was leaving class, I just had the theoretical part of journalism, but the physical, the skills, everything I learned outside through the work.
Yeah.
So I was balancing the video part, the production, the public relation stuff, the connection between the parliament, the MP, and the people. I was trying to handle everything as one person.
Yeah.
So I finished my stuff. The whole day I'm online, exposing the projects of the MP, the projects, the MP where he has built something, the roads he has done, the farms he has created, the schools, the new schools he has built, the hospitals. So the people were much more aware of what is happening in the constituency than before when I was not there. So, and still the people who were trying to poach me, like the former governor and his people, they were the same people who were seeing my work being exposed in the constituency. So they saw this as an opportunity. This guy can help us the way he's helping this guy. So that's why they tried to get me on their side. Fortunately, I worked with them, and to my best, I also did the same thing for the county government during that period.
Being ethical is a touchstone of each and every professional or professionality. When you are serving as maybe a media person for the governor, were you delivering the exact news, the exact images, the reality on the ground, or you were exaggerating things so that people may think the governor was working?
So there are two things.
Yeah.
There is what you call misinformation.
Yeah.
There is the real work on the ground.
Yeah.
And there is the PR.
Yeah.
Today the governor launched something.
Yeah.
Maybe water was not available in that borehole.
Yeah.
So you had to twist yes, a borehole was drilled. You don't have to bring out the aspect that there was water. So the people just hearing that a borehole was drilled, what comes to your mind is water. So I didn't have to do much misinformation. I just had to report what was happening.
Yeah.
Like if there's something that was drilled, a borehole was drilled. If the water comes out, fortunately, we cover.
So you are not fabricating news and trying to paint the governor as someone who is workaholic and who's doing much for the... No. If he does good thing, you are portraying it as a good thing. If he does...
Of course, my boss cannot do bad things.
Yeah.
Because I only cover the good things. So once the governor does a project somewhere, or even the county, I get my equipment, I do the stuffs, we release it. Obviously, it's a good thing. If it's not good, we could not have released it. Of course, there is what you call PR, but there was a whole other department called the public relation, which was dealing with maybe propaganda. Of course, propaganda is part of media, but there is what you call positive propaganda. Like you can try to twist like this place didn't have water.
Yeah.
Even if there was water, but you can try to twist like there was no water until this governor came. So we call it positive propaganda. In a way, it is true there's water, The water might have been there, but you try to hide that and bring like this is the guy who brought the water. So you were not fabricating, you are trying to bring out the actual happenings
That is exaggeration.
around.
After that, you worked for the governor. After that, where did you work also?
So unfortunately, during my last government work, I was a government appointee. So my government that time did not come back to the elections. So I was left. I left the work. So I went back to freelancing and media consultancy. So I was working as a freelance, like consultancy for individuals, for companies, for around 2 years. So even the government now, I was doing some consultancy work for them still, but outside the office duties.
Like, how is that consultancy work? Give me the framework what we are doing in terms of consultancy.
Okay, I might not be the one doing the work, but I source the information.
You outsource.
Yes, I bring the information, I bring the idea, the source, then I get somebody to implement it. So that person does the video works, the pictorials, he releases. It's not my work in a way, but I am consulting. So I was bringing the ideas, and it was more of a freelance work. So I did a couple of freelancing for 2 years. Then later on, I established a media, not a media station, but a small podcast called the Paracolmis. So whereby we try to share information or to the public on happenings in northern Kenya. More of an accountability. So we are still doing that for now.
For now, what is your best moment of your journey in journalism? What kind of reminiscence do you have in your journey that you believe that is the best thing during my tenure?
So my best time as a journalist that I felt like I enjoyed most is when I was doing a piece on education, and I happened to interview my father. He was an education person. So I was doing the girl child education, why the girls are performing better than boys during that time. So it happened during the KCPE results. The girls performed better. It was around 2016. So I was doing interviews on the education stakeholders, and I happened to interview my father. So it was one of my best moments in my journey, because it gave me a different scope of a parenthood. It was more of you can understand the normal happenings in the house, but I was happy that day my father was prepared to be hosted by his son. I felt like he achieved his dream and I achieved mine. So that was one of the best. Also, my first time I worked in the parliament, exposed to that nature of it was a bit explicit, like everybody's watching you. So that was also a perfect memory of my work as a journalist, because I felt like it was the stepping stone of my career. It is what actually built me, my time at the parliament. So those two moments, I feel are one of my best moments. I still remember and I still reflect back of my journey in journalism.
And that is quite embracing, because having a moment with your father which is captured, and maybe his grandkids will one day sit down and see whatever their dad was saying or their grandparents was saying. It's a good thing, actually. And what was your worst experience during your journey?
So one of the challenges I faced, and I still get a bit of trauma, is during the 2017 elections. I happened to go for, like I told you, I was working for the former governor. He was going to a place called Holoko in around the Jara constituency, far post. So the place, there was insecurity issues. So that day that I was told I'm going there, I was a bit excited, but I was hearing some rumors that that's a difficult place. There are some insecurity and the terrorist activities there. So when I went there, I was the only media guy who was taken, and I followed politicians. And politicians, they have their high-end cars. So me, I went to a Land Rover, me and my driver. So on the way, like these guys, there's a what do you call it? These chase cars. There's a Land Cruiser, the police Land Cruiser in front of them. Then they follow. So unfortunately, our car was the first. So, and we got lost on the way. We could not see the Land Cruiser of the police. So like we are in wilderness, there is no way around. We are just walking. We might be walking on a landmine. So it was very hectic. And my driver was just telling me like, Appa, we cannot make it. It's a bit hard. So we just kept on praying. We stopped somewhere. We tried to shade under the tree to wait for them. There was no one coming. It was around 8 in the night when we saw that like there is no hope.
Where did they go?
I think we left them on the road. Those kind of roads, there is what you call, it was not a main road. There's those shortcuts. So I think my driver...
You guys lost each other?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So around 8, we decided to call and there was no good network. So we just walked. We walked to a place called, I think around Huluko, but there was an AP camp. So fortunately we went there, it was around 9. So they escorted us to the base in Huluko. So we found those guys there. They were just drinking tea, enjoying themselves. They were taken care of. So immediately we arrived, we just prayed God, thank God, we were taken to the hospital, slept. During the night.
Why hospital?
Though it was our kind of shelter place. To sleep for the night because we were tired. So we were sleeping on the hospital mattresses. So when I woke up in the morning, I reflected like we are serving. We reflected. Personally, I reflected like we are serving these politicians, but nobody bothered about us.
Yeah.
Those 3 hours, like whether we survived or not, they have security. Some of their cars have detectors. When we came, even nobody bothered. Like, how are you guys doing? That morning,
So you sat with yourself and kept remembering that on that particular incident, nobody even bothered. Nobody cared whether you guys will arrive safe or not safe.
Yeah,
and after arriving, nobody told you, where were you guys?
No, my point.
Yeah.
is nobody thought about it. I might never know.
Yeah.
But my point is, during those 3 hours that you are maybe walking around looking for the right way, trying to catch up with the rest, like it felt like, people were just minding their business. Some might have protection, they might have security. So when we arrived, of course, people asked where we were, but not those guys, those big guys. So maybe our colleagues.
Yeah.
So I reflected, and it was a turning point in my career. Like I felt I should also value myself, but than working for somebody like selflessly. You should also value your career, value yourself. So I felt that time was challenging, and actually I raised my opinions, and unfortunately.
You spoke about it?
Yes, I raised my opinion.
To who?
No, of course, we have immediate bosses. So I told my immediate boss, like, I feel like we also should have this kind of arrangements. So fortunately, the next events, the next programs, we were now in line with the rest, working and riding with them, driving along the main security apparatus. So it was a bit challenging for me. And up to now, whenever I'm told like go to a place where there's something happening, or it's a place whereby it's around the border, I always feel bad, and I'm not comfortable going there. So it was a challenging time for me, and it was a turning point of my career, because I felt like we were being a camera person, maybe example. I felt people just assume like you are somebody. And at the end of the day, when people go home, you are the person they are counting on to bring the work out. You are the one who will be called, where are today's work? Where is today's videos? Where are today's pictures? If you happen to tell them like the video lost or the pictures lost, you might face disciplinary measures. So those are the challenges I
Or
faced.
they may be ceasing working with you. So that is it's a challenge itself because not only on our journalism profession, I believe each and every person should be taken care of. Each and every person should be looked after because at the end of the day, we are all humans and it's part of being ethical and being a correct human being. So now you're a freelancer doing your own things. If you compare between the two journeys, which one seems better between the two journeys? When you are working for the government and now when you are freelancing and being your own boss.
Of course, now you know you are your own boss.
Yeah.
You have your own timelines and you have your own deadlines.
Yeah.
It always feels when you're in charge better.
Yeah.
But overall, of course, working and being under pressure is a privilege. I always appreciate because when somebody is counting on you, it means like you are making an impact.
Also, it makes you being it makes you
Be more resourceful.
more resourceful
Yeah.
per se or being more creative.
Yes. So you are challenged. Maybe you have your own competitors who you want to outdo them. So I always appreciate working under pressure.
Yeah.
Of course, freelancing is good, and I feel like I'm at that stage. But being under pressure, being resourceful, people counting on you, is a privilege. So I cannot say which one is better, but each one has its own pros and it has its cons. But overall, I believe that each had a lesson in my life.
As we wind up, Mr. Abdinur Maalim Bashar, your journey is very amazing. It's a journey which has its own flaws. What are the some of advices, suggestions you give to those students who are pursuing journalism, who are looking upon you? What are the some of the things you want to tell them as we close our program today?
So for those who have a passion in journalism, I believe journalism is not a job, it's passion. Not everybody is a journalist, but the passion in you can never be stopped. That's why you see even top politicians, top athletes, they all need journalists around. So my advice is, once you have that niche, like you want to be a journalist, start immediately. Nowadays, with the advancement of social media, with the advancement of mobile phones, you don't even need a camera to be a journalist. Your mobile phone is enough. So I believe like our young people to take the initiative. Even while you're in class, take your phone, do something with it. There are many social media platforms. Open your own platform, create your own audience, make your own content. Start from there. Me personally, I started making my work when I was in class, and it has helped me to be exposed to create networks. So I challenge anybody who is working, who is in class doing journalism. It's not even must you go to class. Journalism is about art. Your own phone can do wonders. So I challenge everybody to start right now. Don't wait until you finish your classes.
Because you don't know who is watching.
Yeah, you might just hit one day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdinur Bashar Maalim, for your time.
Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you so much.